Hey, what's up? Let's check out what's been happening in the news. What would you buy if you had trillions of dollars? Private jets? Millions of cats? An island? Well, turns out US President Donald Trump is actually considering that last one. He's floated the idea of America buying Greenland. And while that's probably not going to happen, similar things have been done before.
In 1867, then US President Andrew Johnson signed off on paying $10 million to buy Alaska from Russia. Ugh, let's get this old school thing.
Buying territory from another nation isn't a new idea at all, and Greenland is a territory owned by Denmark, although it has its own government. So, hypothetically, this is possible. But why would America want to buy Greenland? Well, the place is full of natural resources like coal, zinc and copper, and it's also in a good strategic spot for things like military bases, which America already has there. But Greenland doesn't seem too keen.
It doesn't feel like he understands the reality.
You can't. Sorry.
Of course, it's pretty unlikely it'll happen. Even President Trump says it's just an idea.
It's not number one on the burner, I can tell you that.
So the people of Greenland can probably relax for now.
Now, speaking of cold places, people in Iceland have just held a funeral for a glacier. This is the Ork volcano, and this is what the top of it used to look like. The glacier was around 700 years old and used to stretch about 15 square kilometres. But decades ago, it started to disappear, and in 2014, it was officially declared dead. Now, about 100 people have hiked up the volcano to install a plaque to draw more attention to how climate change is affecting the planet. A woman in Queensland has given her car a makeover to help cheer up her neighbourhood. Fiona lives in Townsville, and earlier this year the city was hit with terrible flooding. Fiona says she didn't have electricity for a week, so she knitted to pass the time. She thought that covering her whole car in yarn and driving it around would help put a smile on people's faces during a tough time. The second test of the Ashes has ended in a draw between England and Australia after some strong batting from the Aussies. But the biggest talking point was about concussion rules after Steve Smith suffered a nasty knock.
This was a really scary moment in the first innings. Steve Smith fell to the ground after being struck in the neck.
Medical attention out there.
Thankfully, Smith got up okay.
There's obviously some pretty rough memories of a blow like that.
He's referring to Aussie batsman Phil Hughes, who died after being hit in the back of the head during a match a few years ago. It led to some big safety changes in the game, including the development of neck guards, which Steve Smith wasn't wearing, but Cricket Australia wants to make compulsory. It also introduced stricter concussion rules. After leaving the field, Steve Smith had to pass a series of tests before he was allowed to bat again. But the next day, he felt worse. He was pulled out of the match because of concussion, and Marnus Labuschagne was subbed in. Now, with the third test just days away, Steve Smith's going to have to pass a lot more tests to make sure he's well enough to play.
And finally, it's an animal frenzy as we check in with some cheeky creatures from around the world. Forget chips and chocolate, how about a raccoon for your 3 p.m. snack? This sneaky criminal trapped itself inside a school vending machine while trying to nab a tasty treat. Authorities came to the rescue, but the little bandit didn't stick around to say thank you. What do you do when a swarm of bees takes over your soccer match? Here's a tip, a fire extinguisher doesn't help. This stadium in Brazil was all abuzz with the buzzing insects. And staff ended up calling in firefighters to help solve the problem. The bees eventually realised they weren't welcome, but only after delaying the game 19 minutes. And these fluffy cosplayers were actually behaving quite well as they put on their best costumes for DoggyCon. The pet-friendly comic convention in Atlanta drew hundreds of dogs and owners. My personal favourite would have to be Yoda from Star Wars. So wise. Do you want to see more dogs dressed in weird, kooky costumes? Well, I can't guarantee we're going to do that again, but chances are pretty high. So if you hit that subscribe button, then you won't miss out on more videos just like this one, which may feature dogs in weird, kooky costumes. Maybe.